Alright, so it's been a little while since I posted a video. I'm doing one now. I got some really good news. I got a deal put together to buy another drag car. So I'm going to see that probably on the 15th or 16th when I get the money together to go buy it. For now, what I'm doing is a little maintenance on my tow rig here. Got a 2003 Chevy Avalanche. This thing has been an awesome rig. Now has 220,000 kilometers on it. And it's finally time to replace the factory ball joints. They're about worn out. So I got myself some wicked replacements here. Got some nice Moog ball joints, which I grabbed here at Automagic. And yeah, what we're going to do is replace them. So I've started a little bit already. Pulled the dust cover off of here. And I pulled the big nut off the axle. Undid the tie rod. There's a little nut that holds it on the bottom here. Give it a good smack with a hammer here. She'll pop right out. Move it off to the side. And then what we got to do, undo the ABS line. It attaches right in there. Couple clips going up. Undo the connection that's just up behind the shock here. Throw it out of the way. Then take our caliper off, which is 2 bolts on the back side. And this one for the line here. Move the caliper out of the way. Move the rotor out of the way. Undo the 2 ball joints right there and right there. And then we rip this steering knuckle out and we have access to the ball joints where we press them in and out. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done here. Alright, so I got the steering knuckle out of the way. And I took my CV boot and put it on top of my sway bar link here. Up nice out of the way. Keeps this a little tight too, which is nice. So we got to replace these ball joints now. And the lower one, as you can see, has 3 spots on it that are kind of dimpled and pressed in. So what I got to do is cut into those with my little cutting wheel and get them out of the way so I can hammer that ball joint out. And then the top one here, I have to press it up. So what I use is my trusty ball joint press, and I'll use that to press the new ball joints into. Yeah, I'll show you a little more once I got these things hammered out. Alright, we got the ball joints out. As you can see, I cleaned up the hole a little bit, put some Never Seez in there. Acts as a lubricant when you're pressing the new ball joints in, and if I ever have to replace these again, hopefully I won't because I bought Moogs. Yeah, it'll make it real easy for next time. So there's a few things you never see. Those 2 holes are one of them. I always lube the axle shaft here too. If I ever have to replace a bearing on this truck, it'll make it really easy to disassembly again. So a little bit of forethought goes a long way doing stuff like this. So yeah, about to press the ball joints in, put the whole job back together in the reverse order, and then boom, we're done. Alright, little side note, with the Moog ball joints, they have a dot drilled into the ball joint head here, and it is for alignment purposes. What you do is you put this dot out towards the wheel because it's slotted underneath. So if you were to put it sideways, it's not going to be free moving like it's supposed to. So you listen to their instructions, put it out towards the wheel, and then we're good to go. So we're going to press this one in, we're going to press the lower one in, put the grease nipples in, snap rings. Alright, so I got my ball joints in, got my CV axle back where it's supposed to be, got Never Seez on it, and some of the things that Moog is doing now. You can see this one. This isn't a bit of an older style ball joint. It's got the external boot that you got to press on. It's actually a bit of a pain. They're in the middle of a running change right now with these ones. The boot is built into the ball joint. Makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about tearing it or anything when you're installing, when you're doing the pressing, because you do it here, and it's not a pain afterwards to try and press it over top of the lip to get it to seal properly. So that's actually really nice. And it expands when you pump grease into it, and you're good to go. Alright, couple of notes here. One, when you put your axle nut on, do not over torque this. Don't just run it on with the impact and just boom, 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 hammer it tight. You're going to wreck your bearing. There is a torque spec for this. I will be looking it up and torquing mine to it. You don't want your bearing too tight or too loose. These bearings are not cheap because it's a big bearing assembly, so you want that torqued. Can't overstress that. That way, yeah, it's preset to what it's supposed to be, and that bearing will last a really long time yet. Another one, when I get my rotor on, what I do is I'll run a nut up to hold the rotor straight. This way, when you're putting your caliper on, you don't have to worry about the rotor doing this, sliding around on you. It just stays in one spot. It makes it a lot easier to line up the bolts and stuff. And I've seen too many people, when you put a new ball joint in, new tie rod, new pitman arm, it doesn't matter. You get it put together, you get your nut tightened up and your cotter pin in, so it's not going to come apart. Make sure you grease that thing. I've seen too many people come into the shop and it's not greased. They've been driving 20, 30, 50 kilometers on that ball joint. You don't know how much life you just took out of it. It's ridiculous. So they're not meant to run dry. The grease that's in them is for assembly until you can grease them properly. Make sure you keep that in mind. So as soon as you get it together, bolt it up, pump it full of grease, you're good to go. Another thing, this is a fairly extensive job changing ball joints. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, there's no shame in bringing it to a shop. We have an excellent shop here at AutoMagic. There is several other excellent shops going around Prince George. Bring it to one you feel comfortable with. Make sure you get some good advice though. There are some not so good shops here in Prince George as well. So make sure you do your research. We're always here. We got parts, we got tires, we got good mechanical shop. Alright, so we're back on the ground, got the wheels on and torqued, got the alignment done. You always want to do an alignment on something like this when you're changing any front end part, just because all your angles can change. And with that comes tire wear. We don't want tire wear. We want our tires to wear nice and flat and smooth, make them last a long time. The reason it's so critical, when we're using our alignment machine, we're dealing with 0.01 of a degree most of the time. That is extremely fine. We do this on purpose so that the toe and everything is set up perfectly so we don't get the tire wear. So your front end has to be absolutely tight. There's a lot of people tell you that when you're getting alignment done, a little bit of play here is fine, a little bit of play there is fine. No, it's not, because you want it done right. And if you want it done right, you need to have your front end completely, perfectly tight. So, with that being said, now you know. Yeah, so we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.